right, welcome to the Deadlifts and Pizza podcast. What is this, episode 9?
I think so.
We're almost at 2 whole hands, weeks old.
We haven't missed a week yet.
We haven't. Well, yes, we did.
Well, yeah.
Well,
we haven't missed a week.
We missed a week
out.
recording. Yeah, we missed a week recording. We did not miss a week putting it out. So technically, according to you, we're a week behind. What's up? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling back to normal, back in the swing of things. Other than that weird migraine yesterday. That was awful.
Yes, that's terrible.
I don't remember your answer. Do you get migraines?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my gosh. I've never had a migraine before, but I was texting my sister because she gets migraines and I was like, is this a migraine? Is this what this is? She's like, yeah, sounds like it. I was like, oh my God, this is awful.
Yeah, I don't get them like all the time, but yeah.
Not
I've had
fun.
them before. No, not at all.
It's like debilitating because you can't even watch TV. It's like I'd rather be regular sick because then I could like watch TV or read, but with a migraine, you can't do anything.
No, because of the light.
Oh man, not good. But all good now.
Good.
Anything fun or interesting going on with you this week?
My son started football practice. So he started football. So that's fun. He had a good time. He also told me that I smell good today and that I smell like air. I'm not really sure what that means, but I'll take it.
It's like you smell fresh.
Yeah.
That's better than my son's always telling us that we stink. Like always.
He's so sweet.
He'll say your breath stinks. I'll get close to him to like give him a kiss or a snuggle and he'll be like, your breath stinks. I'm like, my mouth was closed. And he's like, it's your nose breath. Like, you're just full of crap. It's very rude. Yeah, but that's nice.
Yeah, he's nice.
So we said, you told me off air last time that when we stopped recording, you brought up that we were going to bring up my True Maxes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I wrote that down.
Did you write the numbers down or no?
No. Did you?
Okay. I have them. I have to find them, but yeah.
Because we did that whole numbers of strength based on our maxes. And I was saying that like, well, I did, such and such weight time, whatever. And Lara kept saying, I think you did more. I was like, no, I didn't. And it kept not putting me, I think I don't know I don't remember where I was, if I was in like average or like borderline
intermediate.
Advanced.
But like in
intermediate.
Like squat, you were like really, it was like low intermediate. It was like barely intermediate. I'm like, I mean, these numbers don't put you in advanced, but they put you above borderline intermediate. So
okay, I'll accept it. So she told me as soon as we stopped recording, she goes, oh, I forgot to mention, I looked up your actual 1 rep maxes because the number that I was giving was like the weight that I did for 3 versus the weight that I did for 1 because I wasn't remembering that number. And she actually looked that up. And so I'm in new categories now. So what was it?
So your squat was 178. So I said 180. I was close.
Yeah. Yeah. See, no, that's elite.
I knew you were higher.
That's elite.
It's not, but okay. Your bench you never logged, but I think we were close with that one anyway. I think it was like 120. Deadlift, when we did the 1 rep maxes, you couldn't do more than 245. But the week before you did, or the week like 2 weeks before, maybe, I don't know. You did 245 by 2.
That's pretty good.
Which is an estimated 1 rep max of 260. But I don't usually go by that with deadlift because I according to mine, like I should be able to do a lot more.
Yeah, it's really fascinating when you see a estimated 1 rep max and then you go to lift that one time and you can't.
No.
And you're like, you were wrong.
for deadlifts, but for the other ones, it's pretty accurate. But deadlift, it doesn't always work for me.
That's interesting. But even the fact that this was a good point too, because we were talking, I don't think it was in that same podcast, but another one where we were talking about training around injuries in the menstrual cycle. And we were talking about how from 1 week to the next, you might not necessarily like feel the same. And it might be due to your menstrual cycle, but it also might not be. And so you might be shortchanging yourself, right, by training around your menstrual cycle. But this was interesting because you reminded me that when we were doing that program, it was layered so that every other week we were lifting like very heavy and testing new numbers or reps or with a certain weight or whatever it was, and having our weight calculated for us in the app. And every other week, the ones in between that, it was layered with backing off a little bit and doing a little bit. It was still heavy, but it wasn't as heavy. It wasn't as taxing. And there was that week, and it was the 2 weeks before the week we were going to test our maxes. So we were almost to the end of the program. And I got up to 245 and I did it twice. And I remember feeling very strong and feeling like I maybe could have done a third. Like I felt really good. I couldn't wait for the test week, which was only 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the test week came and I couldn't even lift that same weight once.
Yeah.
And I remember sending
crazy.
you a video of me it's like with deadlifts, you might do it once and then your body goes completely shuts down. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I can't even roll this bar, let alone like get it off the floor anymore without my whole body just like breaking in half. And that's what that was. What a bummer.
Yeah.
Right when I needed it. Right when I needed it to come through. It didn't come through.
You wouldn't have beat me anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered, but.
Yeah, but maybe I could have been elite.
I'm not even elite.
Wow.
I'm closer though. I'm closer now.
Yeah, you are. I wouldn't have beaten you. You're at 280 now. You've just kept going. I'm just whatever, Laura. You're too far gone. I can't see you anymore. Like I can't see you on the track anymore. And if I can't see you, then I'm just kind of like, all right, well, good luck. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, which brings up. Go ahead.
I wanted to talk about me hitting a new PR. 280 pounds.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you don't seem to care.
I told you I can't see you anymore.
You're like, I messaged you and you're like, all right, cool.
No, I did not say, all right, cool. I think I said like, OMG, that's awesome or something. And then I think I fire emoji'd your thing in the group chat.
Yeah. You said OMG and then gave me the head with the
mind blown. See, I care.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I think like I said, like you're too far away from me now. So like now that you're running,
whatever.
I can't see you anymore. So the difference between like the speed that you're going, I can't tell anymore because it's too far away. So you say 280, like you probably have to tell me that that's a new max. No, that's not true. Because 275 I know was your last one, right? 270. Yeah, that's impressive. That's very impressive. I'm very excited for you.
Are you? For real?
Yes. Yeah.
So I've been doing been doing every other week, but on the power lifting weeks, it's like a linear progression. So linear progression is where the volume will go down, but your intensity will go up. By volume, like not set number of sets, but your total volume. So reps times weight times sets. Mm-hmm. And then the intensity, meaning like the weight goes up. So it might look like 5 reps. I know you know this. I'm telling the audience.
The people. Tell the people.
I'm not like being condescending. 5 reps and then 4 reps and then 3 reps, 2 reps. So each week it'll go down. So the 1 week, and I've been like really far away from my max because I haven't been training like close to that at all. Like I haven't been lifting close to 280 at all. So I've been lifting a lot lighter, focusing on the concentric speed and all of that and power and all of that. And then the week that I was supposed to do 2, I decided to do a little bit more weight than I had put in there for myself. So I did like 250, I think, by 2. And it felt pretty easy. Like I knew I could have did more than that. So I was like, and it was actually the next week. So that was actually last week that I did 250 by 2. But I decided to go for it again this week because I still felt good. So I went a little off of my programming. And
so the heaviest that you did before hitting 280 was 250?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah, I've been really low. Like before the 250, it was like 240, like only a couple times. Yeah, I haven't even been lifting close to that at all.
That is fascinating.
Yeah. And then when I was doing my warm-up sets and I got to 255, I think, I lifted that and I was like, that felt really heavy. I'm like, I don't know about this. But then I was like, 275 is only 2 more 10s, a 10 on each side.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. I could do that. So I did it And then I went to go lift the bar and it wouldn't move. Like I went to go lift it and it just stayed there. Like it moved, like you could, it didn't move. And I'm like,
That was 275?
275. Then I was like, you know what? I'll try again. So I tried again and I got it. And then after that, I was like, well, I might as well try 280 now. Tried that. That one came up actually easier than the 275.
Isn't that weird?
Then I was like, I'll try. It's because I wasn't ready for that heavy weight because it was heavy as fuck,
Yeah.
and you're just not used to it.
Yeah.
Then I tried 285 and I kind of already knew like that wasn't going to happen, but I'm like, I might as well try. I'm here. I'm going to try.
We're going for the gold.
That didn't happen. I think I was already exhausted from the other two heavy lifts. And then have you ever like tried to deadlift and as you're going to lift the bar, it almost feels like your arms and your legs and everything's are just going to like disconnect from your body?
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm done now.
Yeah. These are 100%. How did you feel the next day? Because I remember you saying like you already felt a little achy and like tired and you needed to take it easy on yourself because how did you feel like the next day?
So my back actually didn't hurt as much as I thought it would. I was careful to not sit down for long periods and make sure I kept like stretching out my hips and whatever. The next day I actually worked out again and did squats. And then I was supposed to do Romanian deadlifts, but that wasn't happening. Like I went to go lift up the bar and it was like, I can't do this. I was like, I can't do this. But I did a couple other things and I was fine. But I felt wrecked. Like I felt like really exhausted.
Dude, did you watch any of the Olympic like weightlifting? Like the actual Olympic weightlifting on the Olympics? We watched a few and it was just so interesting to watch these people. And we watched the men's, I don't know, it was men. I didn't see any women do it, but I saw these men and they come out there and it's this weight that is just ungodly. Like, and they're not just deadlifting it, they're whipping it overhead. They're doing power cleans, jerks, snatches. And it was just ridiculous amounts of weight, like hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And what was so interesting to me was to watch these guys come out and, you know, we all have our own little rituals of ways that we get ready to lift up a heavy, very heavy deadlift. Like we all have like our own little rituals. Yeah, you jump up and down, and then as soon as you're done, you hop away from the bar like it's hot. Like that's what you do. Like mine is more of a like, I don't know, I'm like brushing my sides and hitting the sides of my hips. Like I don't know, everybody's got their own little things in the way they do it. Jordan Syatt's arms go high up in the air like this. Like it's just interesting once you actually get to a weight. And if anybody listening deadlifts and does not know what we're talking about, it means you haven't actually reached. Because I really believe that everybody who has reached the point where they look at that bar and go, oh my God, holy heck, I hope my limbs stay attached. Let's go. Like you have some sort of ritual, you know, like some sort of way that you approach it. And it just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's not something that you do consciously. But anyway, watching these guys come up and they do their little rituals or whatever, and they get into it and they grab that bar and then they get their feet in. And then they do one rep, one very powerful rep. And some of them made it and some of them didn't. Some of them got it overhead and then their knee buckled and they fell to the floor like practically crying because they've trained their life for this moment. It was one moment and like their knee buckled. And I was thinking about it in relation to like when you're watching the gymnastics, like similar, they're trained for this one moment, but their one moment lasts, you know, however many minutes or whatever. But for these guys, it's a literal moment. Like they're on that stage for like maybe 30 seconds. And then as soon as they put that bar down, they're stripping off clothes and taking off all the wraps around their knees and the wraps around their ankles. And like they did all of this build up for 30 seconds and then they completely like undressed and unwrapped. And
not only that, with the gymnastics, you've tried that before. You've worked on that routine.
Yep.
With weightlifting, you don't usually try that weight before you get there. You don't really know if you're gonna be able to lift it or not.
Because if you had tried it before, then you would have already reached that max and you wouldn't be doing it necessarily. So you've done pretty close to that. I mean, you know, you're picking, it's a number that you theoretically should be able to do based on your training. But you're right. Like in gymnastics, they have prepared those routines, and not to say that that's any easier because my God, it's not, but it's just very different. But yeah, they're rehearsing these routines and then having to perform them perfectly in front of an audience. Yeah, you're right. They've never touched that way before. So it was just like watching it from that mindset was like, oh my goodness. Like, and there was one guy his knee buckled in a snatch and he wasn't able to fully lock out standing up. And he literally was like a toddler on the ground. Like his knee buckled, he dropped the weight, he threw himself onto the ground on his belly and started like pounding the floor and like shaking his head back and forth. And Donovan was literally like, he looks like a child throwing a temper tantrum. And I was like, well, think about how that feels. He's like, but he should have more control. Anyway, it was very interesting. Connected to this, I haven't talked to you about this yet. This is the first time I've talked to you about it. I'm second guessing this quad growth program.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is that? And
I feel like talking it out with you on the podcast is probably going to be very interesting and insightful for other people too. So I've just been thinking about it because I was thinking about it very singularly, like, okay, I really want to get my quads bigger. It would be great to really delve into this, almost like competitive spirit, which I kind of like and is kind of fun, but not based on pure strength because I just don't feel like feeling that way. I like the idea more about like, okay, we're going to do a little bit more hypertrophy training volume. Like, let's see if we can get like some muscle growth, growth instead of loss and all this stuff. I like a lot of stuff about it. But then I went back to Taekwondo on Tuesday and I was very tired, and it's fine. It was a good tired. It was good cardiovascular output, et cetera. But I'm doing that 3 days a week. And so I was setting up my calendar and I was thinking about how this quad program is going to be 5 days a week and how I just literally can't fit that in. / I'm not willing to. I think I could. But if I'm doing Taekwondo Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, before this trip, I was only strength training 2 days a week. So I was doing 5 total days, 2 days of strength, 3 days of Taekwondo. And this guy like kicks our butts. It's not like just practicing form. He has us going all out with like target practicing and sparring and stuff. So it's a very high like output in terms of cardio. So I'm working on my VO2 max, but I decided that I was okay with doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's 3 days of strength training and 3 days of Taekwondo. That's 6 days a week doing something. But that's still not, even with the program that we're thinking of doing, I'm struggling to see where I can get the 4 days in to get enough volume. And so I've just started thinking about different ways to do it because I don't want to run myself into the ground. But what I usually tell people, and it's interesting too, because I'm thinking about clients who've come in and they're doing like a class or at Bootcamp or something that's high cardio output. And what I normally tell them is, hey, we're working together. I want you to reduce what you're doing there and focus on what we're doing here. So I want you to reduce your Bootcamp classes to like 2 days a week. And I want you to focus on these. But this is different. I'm not doing it necessarily to change my body composition. I'm doing it because I'm in Korea. I want to do Taekwondo. I want like, there's other reasons why I'm engaging in it, right? And we get better and mobility, flexibility, all this stuff. So anyway, I've just started to go down this hole of like, maybe I should be more realistic with myself or then I started to think, well, what if I do 2 lower body days and only 1 maintenance volume upper body day? And what if I really load up those 2 lower body days to try to get the volume? But here's where the conversation happens. And this actually drifts also into a topic that one of our clients had suggested we talk about, which was maintaining muscle mass versus building. So I'm trying to think, is it logical or realistic for me to be able to get the amount of volume I need to build my quads in only 2 lower body days per week? Or would I do literally lower body 3 days per week in order to spread out that volume and just do a little bit of upper body on each one to be maintenance volume? Does that make sense? Like, what would you think in terms of how to maximize the potential to beat you in quad thickness with only training 3 days per week? / should I organize my week differently?
I don't know if you can't have 2 goals at the same time.
But I don't necessarily have a goal in Taekwondo. It's more so just that my goal would still be build my quads. But if I have my schedule like this,
But it's still a priority.
It is, but what if we take out the fact that because I'm coming from the belief too, and you can tell me if you disagree, that my output in Taekwondo it's not necessarily the output that's going to impact my results. Like, I believe that I can have that kind of cardiovascular output 3 days a week and also have this goal if I eat well and rest and all this stuff. So if we take out the fact that it's Taekwondo, and let's just say I only have, because of scheduling, 3 days per week, because I wouldn't consider necessarily Taekwondo a goal. I would consider it more so it's just this in place cardio output. And it's just going to happen. But I'm not necessarily trying to get better at, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, the way I set up the program is it's 5 days a week, upper, lower, but 3 lower bodies. But the third one is optional. So you could skip the third one.
Right.
And then choose one of the upper bodies for as long as you get, some upper body in, you'll still be able to maintain.
Like maintenance volume. What is the, do you know off the top of your head, the sets per muscle group for maintenance versus more building? And I know it's going to be different person to person, but what would you think it would be for me?
5 or 6 sets.
For maintenance?
Yeah.
So if I theoretically do somewhere in the nature,
I think it could go as low as 3. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I do somewhere in the nature, what did you originally say? 5 to 6?
Yeah.
Let's say if I do 5 sets for my upper body, and I would likely do a compound exercise that would hit multiple muscles. I wouldn't be doing like a bicep curl. But let's say I did like a compound exercise or 2 to kind of maintain upper body, and I just put all the rest. What would you say is good volume for building?
For building?
Building muscle.
Like just in general?
In general, and then like, what do you think for me? Because 10 to 20, right?
Yeah.
Where do you think I lie in that? 10 to 20 sets per muscle group. Where do you think I lie in that?
I think because you've taken time off, it's actually on the lower end.
Screw you. I'm elite.
The way you said that,
like Laura.
I'm elite.
But I'm elite.
It's obvious.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, in general, like normally I would say you're in the middle. Like most people are in the middle.
Yeah. 15-ish.
For a while.
Sets.
Yeah, 15-ish.
So you think it might be closer to 12 sets per muscle group for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know offhand have you already built the program?
I had it like when I was doing it.
Got it.
But I was going to tweak it just a little bit probably. But
do you know how many sets per muscle for quads? Do you know roughly how many you programmed?
I think it was 18 and then it went to 26 by the end. It increased.
Holy heck. But and this is actually interesting too. So this program, I'm just going to repeat what the intention is. It's kind of built out of this idea that Laura and I are going to kind of do this little competition because we have fun doing that. It's like having a workout buddy. And we can like kind of compete a little bit. And the last time we did this was in pure strength. And obviously Laura ran too far away for me I can't see her anymore. This time I'm going to win. But maybe not because of this conversation. But anyway, so we're going to do this we're going to try to add some inches to our quads, try to really get some volume there. And at the same time as this is happening, just coincidentally, we also have a small group coaching program that we release programs to the squad. But then also we want to start doing Lift With Us programming so that not only are we releasing really high quality programs that are skill specific, like pull up focus program, deadlift focus program, glute growing, whatever, very skill specific programs. We also want to release programs that like we are specifically doing and that people can do with us. So we can create this kind of community, very friendly competition among the group of our clients and us. So this is all kind of coalescing at the same time because we have this boot camp starting that we want to create a program for. We decided to start the Lift With Us during the boot camp, and we have this actual very specific thing we're going to do. So the way that Laura's going to design the program is going to be, it's still going to be an upper lower split, 4 days, upper lower, but she's throwing in a 5th lower day in order to get the volume to grow your quads. So if it's somebody who wants that specific goal as well and is fun and it thinks is invigorated by that idea, they can join in on the exact programming. But if somebody doesn't necessarily have that goal and there's somebody that maybe just wants a traditional split that is meant to build muscle all around, they can drop that 5th day and do the 4-day upper lower split, and it's still like a fabulous workout. And it's very modifiable. And one of the things I actually want to talk about is how you could modify this specific program, not today, different day, this specific program for varying goals. Because I think that would be a great topic. Like, how do you take a program that somebody else wrote, somebody else wrote, and like modify it for multiple different goals and like go down a couple different avatar pathways? We can talk about that later. But this kind of like starts to go there because it's like, okay, so for somebody who maybe is more in the beginner zone, but also wants to focus on quad growth, they can get away with doing like a little bit less and modifying a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But then I'm a little bit more here. I can't modify as much, or I might just end up in maintenance volume. So I'm trying to figure out basically the best way to do it. So theoretically, if I look at the program once it's written and like really kind of pare it down, I can kind of pick and choose, I guess, where I'm going to have to do some math to figure out like, all right, which exercise am I really going to focus on? Because I don't want to work out more than an hour a day either on those 3 days a week.
Yeah. I don't remember how long they are, but they're probably like an hour. If it's 5 days, I don't think it was longer than that. Yeah.
Well, the other random thing is that we do 40 push-ups at the end of every Taekwondo. Mm-hmm. So that would count towards my upper body. That would count for triceps, probably shoulders and chest as well. Mm-hmm. So I could probably only do one exercise actually for my back, like a compound back biceps row, some kind of pull, maybe a pull-up. I could literally just do pull-ups. You know what I could do? I just came up with an idea. You know what I could do? I could do pull-ups on my Taekwondo days along with the push-ups. I could just throw pull-ups on there too. As many as I can and then a few banded, or as many as I can and then the rest negatives or something like that. And then only do 3 lower body days. What if I did that?
Sure.
What do you think? Do you think that would be enough? Because I could just take the 3 lower body days that you program. What do you think?
I'll have to think about it.
Like, no thinking.
I'm not good on the spot.
Laura and I are very different. I'm a talk to thinker. Like all of this is me thinking. Like you're hearing me thinking now. This is how the genius happens. Laura's she needs time away, time in her brain, and then she delivers.
And then I come up with a brilliant answer.
And then I get voice notes upon voice notes of all of her thoughts, which I love. But I'm like sitting here verbalizing it. Okay. Next pod. Do we have enough? Is that enough time? I mean, it's more than enough time. Is it too much time? Do I need to know my answer before then? Next pod, even if we've discovered the answer, we can talk about what we came up with.
Okay.
But I'm actually liking that idea. I think if I just throw pull-ups in on my Taekwondo days, as soon as I get home, I add it in like habit stacking. Or maybe even before I go. But maybe when I get home, I just hop on the pull-up bar and I have a set routine of what I do. That might be enough for my upper body.
I remember in the program, I put pull-ups as the first exercise on both upper body days because I wanted to work on that too.
Yeah.
I might leave it like that.
Yeah. I think that would be a good idea.
Because this is a lift with us, but it's also like, so I'm thinking about other people, but it's also about what we want since it's a lift with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Do what we want to do. They could do something else. So.
Yeah. And that's what's cool about it though, is that for the most part, and I think I'm going to go on a limb by saying this, being a trainer that specializes in custom programming for my clients. So maybe if you're a client, turn this off. No, I'm just kidding. There's really not a huge variation between how you build a program from person to person. So we can take a program, you can follow. And I think the problem with cookie cutter programs isn't necessarily well, it is if it's poorly designed, but it's that the people don't necessarily know how to modify that for them. They feel like they have to. But the cool thing about this is you can add in those notes, the exercise substitutions, And we do a video where we can talk about the different ways that you can modify a program to fit your lifestyle, your schedule, your goals, whatever. So you're writing it with this idea that we have of what we want to work on in mind. And if people have that same desire, they can do that, or they can modify it slightly and get massive benefit from that as well. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the way it's designed or will be designed is that it's like slightly above maintenance volume for your upper body. That way you can do that many sets for your quads without, getting burnt out.
Right.
So there's a huge focus on that. The upper body, there isn't going to be as many like isolation exercises. There isn't going to be as many like curls or things like that.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll have to look at that and see. I was going to say, that's where I was like, there was something I was going to say on the tail end of that is, I feel like we're getting closer to it. So I should start talking about it more. We have the back to school boot camp coming up. It was going to start September 1st. I actually moved it to September 8th. I wanted more time to talk about it. So it's going to start September 8th. If you want in on the back to school boot camp, we're going to have all of these programs, the lift with us, the little friendly competition. We already have an amazing group of community. We're hoping to build that community a little bit more during this boot camp. So in the show notes, right, Laura? In the show notes, you can get the info for the back to school boot camp. And you can join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun and talk about kick your booty into gear for the school year. This is the time to do it. Do you agree? That's a really great question. My thoughts over the past few years, September is my favorite time of year in my job. It's my favorite time of year for clients, and it is the time where I feel like the people that start around this time, I'll say August through October, somewhere in that time frame, have the best results. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, because you don't have summer to worry about. You don't have to, worry about wearing tighter clothing or, whatever. And then, or less clothing. And then you have until like springtime before that's a thing again. So you can work on building muscle, building up your metabolism, doing all that until you get to spring. I mean, that's what I do. That's my routine.
Exactly.
September comes and it's bulking time. And then usually springtime, a little bit late winter, I start cutting. Then summer is like maintenance. Go back through that again.
Yep. It's the perfect timing to get on that flow that you just described. And I love that flow for even people who don't necessarily bulk and cut. I still love even like an average person that's just trying to get fit or trying to get into strength training. I love them to follow that pattern anyway, because I think it's purely because we can take a little pressure off of the weight loss and the fat loss. And we can implement things that we really want to see people doing, which is spending some time building a strong foundation. And people are much more willing to accept a period of time building a strong foundation and taking a little emphasis off aesthetics at this time of year, because we're going into fall, we're going into all of that stuff. But I find that when people start now, it's really easy to get them there. We have a little bit of time to build up a runway for the holidays, because the holidays, if I have people that start right before the holidays, it's very tricky, because the holidays become a time where it's really hard to manage your schedule and your nutrition. And it's kind of like excuse and misstep and stumble like every week, like for months. And so it's really hard to get somebody who hasn't really been consistent or on a routine. It's hard to get them on one if you start in November. It's easier to get them on one if you start in September, and then you can build up to the holidays. And then if you wait till after the holidays, if it's January is another actually decent time, but we don't have enough of, it's not my ideal in terms of a runway, but we still have enough time. We can do a little bit of building and then kind of get them ready for summer. But spring, man, everybody just wants fat loss. Like, I want to look my best in a bikini. Oh my gosh, they're freaking out. I need a trainer. And it's like, oh, you should have joined in September. We can do it, but September.
I was laughing when you were saying that about the holidays, because people always say like, oh, the holidays. It's like the holidays are like a couple days, but it's like during that whole time, it's like, I can't do anything.
Nope, it's chaos. And it is only a couple days. And this is, and we'll talk about that more in the foundations program when it comes up. But yeah, exactly. If you look at a calendar and pick those days, it's actually really reasonable. I think the problem comes in when you have leftovers or the winter mindset or your neighbor dropping off cookies or this potluck and that celebration. And people, don't plan for those things and don't know how to manage them. And so you just have to be a little bit more picky with the days that you choose and et cetera, et cetera. But that's a topic for a different podcast. It's August. I'm not talking about Christmas. So shush. It's illegal in my house. All right. What you got?
I thought it would be fun.
Uh-oh.
No math this time. But I thought it would be fun to do a little overrated, underrated. So I'll give you a topic and then you tell me whether you think that is overrated or underrated.
Oh, I love this.
And obviously overrated, you could still like the thing, but
right.
Maybe it's just, and vice versa. And then some things are just properly rated.
Properly rated. How many items do you have on your list?
I have a couple. I have 1, 2, 3, 5, but we don't have to go through all of them.
Okay.
I just had, and we can take time on ones you want to take more time on. All right. So continuous glucose monitors for people who aren't, don't have diabetes or aren't pre-diabetic, just regular healthy people.
So is the way this is going is that I answer and then you add in any thoughts you have? Is that how this is going? Okay. Massively overrated. As we know and have talked about before, regular people who don't have diabetes, it is having glucose spikes is extremely normal. It is supposed to happen. And this fear mongering around the idea that we need to somehow control that is, in my mind, honestly, it's dangerous. I'm not even going to say it's dumb. I think it's dangerous and it's unhealthy. And it leads people to view nutrition completely incorrectly. And I hate that. And the other issue that it has, and I want to say the trend is going down, would you say? Or do you think it's maintaining?
I don't know. I haven't noticed it going down, but I haven't noticed, I don't know. I guess I haven't noticed it as much in my feed. So I guess it could be going down.
That's what makes me think, because I haven't noticed as much too. So I feel like we're coming off of it, but I know that it was actually a massive issue because everyday people were ordering these blood glucose monitors. People who actually needed them were not able to access them, or the price was being jacked up. And that to me is a huge issue as well.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Totally agree. It's stupid. It's dumb. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's just normal. And having somebody, it would make you paranoid and you would always be worried about what you're eating and what it does. And I don't think that's necessary.
Nope,
and
it's not.
And it might force you to not eat certain foods. Not force isn't the right word, but might influence you to not eat certain foods that are probably good for you to eat, because this made it, it shows that it spiked your blood sugar or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thoughts.
Massively overrated.
Overrated. All right. Fasted cardio.
I was thinking if I was going to say massively overrated or regularly overrated. Yeah, overrated. Just regularly overrated. You can, a lot of times, I'll say the intention that somebody comes at it with. Most of the time when people do fasted cardio, they're doing it. And fasted cardio, by the way, is doing cardiovascular activity before you have eaten. So typically it's in the morning before you've had breakfast. So you're doing it in a fasted state. The reason that people tend to do this is because they're trying to lose more body fat or get even leaner. And the research continuously shows that it does not matter if you are exercising in a fasted state or not. The thing that matters for body composition and body fat levels is your total caloric intake throughout the day. And this can include exercise as well, but it's the total amount of calories in and calories out that determines that, not when you do it. And one of the reasons that people say, or at least kind of the inception of fasted cardio came from this idea that you're burning body fat stores. You don't have any glucose in your system because you haven't eaten to fuel the exercise. Therefore, you are burning body fat at that time. And technically that's true, but it's true in this little vacuum because it's true when it's happening, but your body goes right back to burning the way that it, so if you eat right after that, then you're still going to be burning calories and you're going to be burning it from glucose, and your body's going to regulate everything after that period of time. And so it's looking at it in such like a vacuum. It doesn't actually have an impact on your body fat levels. Yes. Doing it fasted versus not.
It's another one that's dumb unless there's nothing wrong with doing fasted cardio. If I just didn't have a chance to eat, then that's fine. But it's dumb if you're doing it to lose fat, because the balance is what matters.
I like how I'm like, it is overrated because science. And you're like, I agree. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, if you're doing fasted cardio because you just do your cardio in the morning and you just don't want to eat beforehand, you prefer to eat after, it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. No. It's just not superior in any way. So there's no reason to force yourself into this pattern if it doesn't fit with your schedule, your desires, your goals naturally.
Yeah. Your body is always using, either fat, glucose, glycogen, something for energy. But what it really matters is like the balance. Eventually, some of that stuff's going to come back. If you end up overeating, it's going to turn into fat afterwards. So there's no point to, yeah.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Yep.
Hip thrusts.
Oh. I think that they were a bit overrated, actually. But I want to say now it's a little bit more properly rated.
Properly rated.
Yeah. My reasoning for that is because I feel like, and maybe we're still there and I'm just not paying attention as much, but there was this massive, and there still kind of is, but like massive desire to get your butt to be bigger. And hip thrusts were like the king and, all this stuff. And that's great because hip thrusts are great for growing your glutes. But then a study came out, and I don't know if this shifted it or if it just shifted it in my own mind or what. And, maybe it's just coincidental that I feel like I see a little less, that squats really do grow your glutes just as much as hip thrusts do. And maybe there was a shift, maybe I'm imagining it, but I feel maybe it was coincidental, but I feel like we're not as obsessive with hip thrusts right now. And I think that's proper because I think that there's lots of exercises that can help grow your glutes. And I don't think hip thrusts are necessarily superior. And I don't think that a lot of people, I feel like with hip thrusts too, people either hate them or they love them. Like some people absolutely love them. Other people, I give them hip thrusts and they're like, please don't make me do those. I have to set up my bench differently. I have to put the bar on my hips. I don't know how to do it without it hurting. I don't want to do it. And so I feel like people love or hate it. And what I tell the people that hate it is like, you don't actually have to do them. It's fine. There's other exercises that will hit that same area just as well. So what do you think?
I agree. I hate hip thrusts, but I think they're properly rated and I will do them from time to time, but they're not my favorite. I don't enjoy them.
Yeah, I enjoy them sometimes.
Yeah. I actually enjoy, they hurt I can totally feel it in my glutes. I like B stance ones better than regular. Yeah.
You know why I don't, sometimes the B stance or the kickstand, hip thrusts, RDLs. And this is when, if you don't know, this is when it's kind of like a single leg RDL, but you've got one leg still on the floor for balance. So you've got one foot either in a slight kickstand position for an RDL. Were you saying B stance hip thrust though?
Or B stance? Did I say RDL?
I think you just said B stance and I went somewhere in my head, but you could do like a B stance or not really B stance, but like a kickstand RDL, but a B stand hip thrust would be in the hip thrust position, but you've got one foot like cocked forward. So you're really putting the emphasis on the foot that's properly on the ground on that glute. Those are good. I was thinking more, I was going to RDL because I don't like holding the dumbbells for 2 full sets. You know what I mean? So if you're doing a kickstand, you're going to want to do your
that makes sense.
8 to 12 reps on both sides, but that means you have to hold the dumbbells twice as long.
Yeah, that's true.
So if I'm going to do like a kickstand or a B stance something, I do like to do it in a hip thrust position because the reality is the hip thrust and the RDL or the deadlift is the same movement pattern. It's a hip hinge. So if I'm going to do a single leg hip hinge, I do like a single leg RDL, but I might use it for a different, but if I really want to get that burn and use a relatively heavy weight, I'm going to get in a hip thrust position with that so that I can not have to hold the weight. But yeah, I do like those.
My butt
as
is
well.
on fire after
Fire.
I do those. Not in a bad way.
I also have one butt cheek that I can't help but feel all the time. Like it's constantly activated. And whenever I do anything involving glutes, it could even be a squat. There's one like butt cheek that is always activated and I can feel it. And the other one is like asleep. And I have to really mentally connect to the other side to get it to activate, which is really interesting. So that's why I like the single leg stuff too, is because I can really focus on that one side. Do you have that?
That's what I was going to say. No, I don't know. I don't know. You said that. I don't think so. But yeah, if you were my client, I would give you a lot more, split stance and single leg things to, work that out.
Yep. But it doesn't, you say work it out or fix it or whatever. This has been like years and I'm elite, because we've determined. So I'm at this point though, where I don't know. I think it's just something that will always be there because I can think, listen to a podcast, talk on the phone and feel this side. But if I'm doing anything else with the other side, it's my left side that's like sleepy. I can't do anything else because I just have to concentrate. As long as I'm concentrating on the contraction and that mind muscle connection, it's fine. I have the ability to do that, but I don't know if it's ever going to actually just right itself. I feel like it's just what it is.
Yeah. That's
weird. Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, as long as they're like, they're not uneven.
Right. Could you imagine? They're uneven in strength, but so far the size is the same.
One side is bigger than the other.
That'd be weird.
You just don't know.
It's very true. Now I feel like I'm going to go look in the mirror.
All right, ready for the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Eating before training.
Like how soon before training?
An hour, 2 hours, depending on what you're, eating.
Properly rated.
I think it's properly rated.
Yeah. Do you think it's properly rated?
I think it's overrated. Yeah, I do.
Do tell.
I do not train, or I do not eat before I train, and I don't really notice much of a difference. And
right, because you train in the morning, so you don't eat at all.
No, and I think it's necessary so when you eat carbs, your muscles fill up with glycogen, right? And you need that glycogen for your workouts. If you are not using those muscles intensely, that glycogen isn't going to be depleted by the time you go and do your workout. So like when I eat dinner, my muscles are still fine by the time I wake up in the morning. So I really only think it's a big deal if you're doing like intense things throughout the day.
So could this question almost have been reworded to fasted training?
Kind of, yeah.
Overrated or underrated? In which you would say, I don't know if you would want to call that underrated though, because that suggests more people should do it. Oh, it's underrated. You should consider this. It's more so that there's nothing wrong with it. In your opinion?
Yeah, that's why I I didn't word it that way. I said eating before training.
Yeah.
So I worded it the opposite way.
But it sounds like for a reason.
Because nobody's saying you should train fasted.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's a really good point.
Do you disagree with me or no?
I'm trying to think if I do or not. I think I still lean towards properly rated. And I think my reason is, I think it depends. I think if you are somebody who does work out first thing in the morning, okay, it depends. If you're somebody that naturally in your schedule, your workout fits first thing in the morning, because that's the reason you do it mainly, is because that's when you know you can get it done. If that's you, then yeah, I would say maybe it's a little overrated. You don't need to eat. You can go ahead and train and you can eat after. You don't have to worry about it, because a lot of people are always stressing, oh my God, I need to eat, but I don't want to eat because I'm not hungry, but I need to work out and I need to let it digest, and it's all this stuff.
Yeah, that's why it's like, go ahead.
But if you work out at any other time in the day, I would say it's properly rated, because once you have food in your system and your metabolism's going and your digestion's going, I think it can be really beneficial to have a well-timed kind of pre-workout meal, and not necessarily well-timed pre-workout, but just having the last food that you eat before you do go to train. So whether it's lunch because you're going to train at 3 p.m. after work, or whether it's, your 3 p.m. snack because you train, 5 before dinner, making sure that whatever you're eating at that time is, you're thinking about your workout coming. So you're not going to eat a high fat meal because you don't want to feel sluggish at your workout. I think that, or having a specific snack because that your training is coming, I think can be really beneficial.
All right. So
that's
I guess
my
we
answer.
disagree on this one a little
but
bit.
Mildly.
Yeah.
Only a little.
Yeah,
Did you hear Jordan Seitz's new podcast? It's like Coach to Coach Debate. Did you see him post it? And
I saw him post it, but I don't listen to his actual podcast.
If you do listen to it, I think you should actually. It's him and this other coach, trainer person, Jordan Lips, and they're debating, quote unquote. It was set up to be like a debate about mobility training because Jordan's big on mobility training, and this other guy, Jordan Lips, is like, I don't think you need to do mobility training. And it's like the debate, but the spoiler alert is that they both actually really kind of feel the same. It's just the approach that they take. So
yeah. Sounds like politics.
I was going to say the same thing.
We disagree, but we agree.
Yeah.
All right. I have one more.
Okay.
I don't know if you're going to have an opinion on this one.
All right.
Fast concentrics. So like lifting the weight quickly on the concentric part of the lift.
Well, in order to say if it's overrated or underrated, I would have to know how the public is rating it. And I don't know if I know.
They don't say much about it. I don't think.
So I don't know how it's rated. So I don't know if I could say it's overrated or underrated. Fast concentrics. I mean, I'm generally a fan of like a powerful concentric and a slower eccentric. So would that be considered underrated?
Yeah. I would say that they're underrated because I can't do it without laughing now. I'm going to laugh. All right.
All right, just say it and laugh. There's going to be a whole chunk of section that we took out because Laura lost it. I lost it too, apparently.
I would say that they're underrated because nobody really talks about them.
Okay, and why do you think? Why do you think that short contractions are so beneficial? Fast concentrics are so beneficial.
Because I can't do it. We have to like start all the way away. I'm sorry.
All the way at the beginning?
I apologize.
Okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Right. Welcome to the Deadlifts and Pizza podcast, your No BS Fitness and Nutrition podcast. We have to start all over.
All right. Yeah, I think that they would be underrated because nobody talks about them. That's what makes them underrated. And I think fast contractions can help you build strength really quickly. I think that's why I built like my deadlift so much is focusing on lifting that weight really fast in acceleration and all of that. And fast contractions cause you to use, a lot of glycogen as you go to lift that weight. So it can help you build muscle too.
So this is like if you're doing a deadlift, the concentric portion would be pressing it off the ground. So not having that be the slow 2 or 3 second thing, but trying to focus on this powerful output of getting it up as quickly as possible and safely. Obviously, you want to maintain form and everything, but that powerful moment of pressing that weight off the ground, or in the bottom of a squat, the powerful moment of coming up and out of that squat more quickly instead of, you'll see people, they've heard that they need to slow down their lifts and tempo and all of this stuff, but they slow down every portion of it. So they'll slow down like at a squat, going down into the squat, which is good. You want to control that motion. 1, 2, 3 down. They'll hold it for a second, and then 1, 2, 3 up. But you don't need to do the 1, 2, 3 up. You can just come up. In fact, that's even better. So you're right. I think it's probably underrated. Yeah, underrated.
I think it's underrated just because nobody talks about it.
I think you said overrated just a second ago.
Did I?
Yeah, but it's underrated.
It's
so
underrated.
Clear. Yes.
Yeah.
Good one. I liked that. Do you have any more?
Yeah. I don't. We could come up with some.
How about scrunch butt leggings?
I've done that one before in the Facebook group, and I think they are overrated.
And that one was particularly funny because if you don't know Laura, she is the least showy person when it comes to like her body. Like she's not the one in leggings and the sports bra.
No.
You are in the basketball shorts and the t-shirt.
Yeah.
The loose t-shirt. It just like sporty, very down to earth. And so the thought of you in scrunch butt leggings is probably the funniest part of this entire conversation.
We actually had a bet at one point. I had to, finish my nutrition. I think it was finish my nutrition cert in a certain amount of time.
Oh, yeah.
And if I didn't, I had to make a Instagram reel or something wearing scrunch butt leggings. And you can bet that I finished that cert in time.
Damn.
Yeah, because that will not be happening.
Gosh, that would be funny.
Who wants to wear those? Like, why would you want that up your butt? Like, who wants that? Is that comfortable?
Here's the thing though. People are taking regular leggings and shorts. Mm-hmm. And there's a way where if you shove your hands down the front of your pants and then wrap your hands around to your butt, it pulls the fabric so that you can then get it to kind of sit in your crack so that it highlights the booty cheeks, right? So if you have the scrunch butt legging, it's already squeezing that fabric. So you don't necessarily, but people still do, kind of have to pull that fabric around.
I feel like it would still give you a wedgie. And why do you want someone to see your entire ass? Like, why is that important?
Well, also the people doing this, and I wear pretty tight, like revealing, like like I wear like the sports bra and the short, tight spandex shorts and leggings or whatever. I don't do the fabric wrapping up my crack. Sometimes it kind of naturally falls that way. But if you're going to wear clothing that's like that, you can't wear normal underwear. That's another piece of it. You wear a thong or no underwear. And I cannot imagine. I see people talking in these fitness weightlifting groups. Every once in a while, people will ask a question like, okay, ladies, what underwear do you wear with this clothing? Because I can't. And so many people are like, oh, honey, underwear? No, you don't wear underwear. And I'm like, what? Come again? That's, to me, like, I cannot imagine not wearing underwear.
No, me neither.
With tight
a lot of people
leggings.
A lot of people do it, but that can't be good for stuff.
I can't imagine it can be good for stuff. I have lots of questions that probably shouldn't be spoken, but I'm sure that you have the same ones. And so we'll leave it at that. I'm just concerned.
By the way, I'm not judging anybody. Like, if you like them, I just don't understand it, but I'm not going to think you're, whatever.
Well, that's what I was going to say is for the person who wants to highlight their booty cheek shape, which I can understand why you'd want to do it. So I think that I lie in the middle of you and then the booty cheek showing person because I wear the form-fitting things, whereas you don't. So I could see the next leap, which is like form-fitting and then highlighting these muscle area that I want to grow or that I already think looks good and is very in right now. I want to highlight it a little bit, whatever. I could see maybe why somebody would want to do that. So for somebody who already wants to highlight them, having a legging that already kind of helps to do that because it's like knitted that way, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I can make the leaps.
So when you wear stuff like that, does it just make you feel good about yourself? Like you feel confident when you wear it? You're like, look at me.
I do, because if I wore, and I don't think this about you at all, if I wore what you wear with like a looser t-shirt and just like the fitness short, the basketball shorts, was that what you'd call them? Like basketball shorts? No, they're more like.
They're kind of like basketball shorts.
Yeah.
They're just gym shorts.
Yeah, I would feel like frumpy.
Basketball shorts are usually longer. They're not like way down my knees or anything. Yeah.
But I don't think you look frumpy. I think you look sporty. When I see you, I think you look sporty. Yeah. But when I wear that, I feel like frumpy. I don't know why.
Also, that's just because that's what I wear when I first, wake up in the morning and I work out in my gym,
Mm-hmm.
like where I don't go and see people. I might dress a little bit differently if I was going out, but I'm just me, and I don't guess I don't wear it for other people.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is comfy for me as I'm working out.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I both feel so I'm also the type of person that what I'm wearing will slightly dictate how good my workout is. So if I wear something,
Really?
yes. If I wear something and before I go work out, I look in the mirror and I'm like, damn, my workout's better. But if I wear something that's just comfortable because I'm just getting up in the morning and I just got to go do it, my workout won't be as good.
That's interesting.
Maybe it's a little vanity. I don't know what it is. But when I look in the mirror, I want to be like,
confidence.
Yeah, baby. She's hot.
Gives you that confidence.
Yeah.
I don't want people looking at me, so.
Maybe you would if you were wearing scrunch butt leggings.
That's exactly why I wouldn't wear scrunch butt leggings. 'Cause I'm like, please don't look at me. I want to be invisible.
All right. If you like this episode, please give us a 5-star review. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Check out the show notes for the link to the squad and the boot camp that's starting on September 8th. Peace out.
Bye.